Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call today. We mentioned your win against UCLA on Thursday, and upcoming the game against Ohio State. Could just get your thoughts on the opening game and what you have coming up ahead.
Oh, well, it was obviously a great win. Any win's a great win, but most importantly, the atmosphere here and our student section and our community did a phenomenal job. So it was an exciting night, beautiful. Wasn't the cleanest thing in the world. We didn't play, exceptionally great in a lot of areas, turning the ball over and some penalties. But all in all, we found a way to win. Had some ups and downs, a lot of momentum shifts. But I thought our guys showed some maturity and continued to battle, and in the long run and at the end, pulled it out.
Take questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please. Hit *1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
We'll now take our next question from Bill Robinowitz of Columbus Dispatch. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hi, Luke. Now that the week is here, what's going through your mind?
Did you get his name? Did you get how he pronounced your name, Bill?
I'm used to it, Luke. That's better than most. As long as you can pronounce it.
Yeah, I got you. I'm good.
Now that the week is here, what's going through your mind in terms of your emotions coming in to the shoe as an opponent?
Very unemotional. I can't allow myself to, get involved in any emotional type of things. And just the preparation, I think, is really trying to say, not just all of us, but myself, focused into the things that we have to do as opposed to letting it be an emotional, game or prep in a lot of different ways. From, I don't want to talk about who's going to be there, tickets, different things like that. I've avoided that for a long time, and we'll continue to avoid it for 5 or so more days.
Now that the opener's under your belt, you won that one, and you had a chance to watch Ohio State. What do you think of the matchup between you guys and Ohio State, and what you have to do on Saturday?
Oh, we got our hands full. I mean, I think the thing that you saw from them on Saturday, obviously it was over before it started in a lot of ways, but I think they were pretty vanilla in a lot of things defensively. They didn't have to do a bunch of things. Offensively, I don't know that that they had to throw a lot of things at them, but you saw them be very efficient, very explosive. Obviously, in 21-0, I think in 3 or 4 minutes. So I think that you're always curious with some new parts and new staff and new quarterback that what will the efficiency kind of, how will it run and how will it roll. And as you saw, some people struggle this past weekend. Maybe Nebraska or Iowa State with some people that maybe they, in theory, could think they would handle. They didn't have any issues. They continued to motor and move and create a lot of momentum, and I think that's going to be a real challenge for us.
Thanks, Luke.
Sure.
Go ahead to the next question, please.
We'll now take our next question from Fletcher Page of the Cincinnati Enquirer. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Luke. How's it going?
How are we doing?
I'm good. I wanted to ask what it was like getting to know Garen Prater and adding him to the program, just what type of a person he is, and then now that he's getting closer to being healthy, what you might expect for him, on the football field. Maybe not immediately, but over the course of his career for you guys.
Well, we're hoping we can get him back doing a lot of things. Last week was the first week we actually got to know him a little more. Obviously, got to know him a little bit personally. When we first got here, we, really late tried to go and see if we could recruit him a little bit, but he had already kind of made up his mind. And then, having the opportunity now to have him back with us, I think I've, just last week got to know him a lot better just because he was on the field more and for the first time, practicing a lot of the scout work and things like that. But, we're hoping that he consistently, his back's all healed and ready to roll, and we can get him into the groove and into the mix. Sometimes it's hard as the season starts, but it's a long season. There's guys that get dinged up here and there, and, he's going to have some opportunities. You just got to take advantage of them, and we got to give him some opportunities, and we will. He needs to take advantage of them, and he's got a bright future. I just, how fast and how quick will it happen? Missing all of camp, I think, is what's tough for him.
Yeah, and does him maybe returning home sort of reinforce what you guys have been preaching on the recruiting trail, sort of staying at home, being a hometown hero?
I hope so. I think, and those guys how they handle it and how they communicate and talk with with others, I think is a big deal. Obviously, with his brother coming here and the family in general, I think is a huge thing for us. But no matter what, whether they're hometown, I want them to have great success, not just on the field, but enjoying what it is that they do, enjoy the university community, their teammates and things like that. Which, if that happens, then it'll be a bigger success in 3 more years, because now, the word will be through the entire community. It's, it's hot right now because we had success last year, and he's coming back home, and some other people are coming here from locally. But I think it'll be much, much greater when those guys even get done and they truly, have owned it and want to represent, all that we've done here in the university for the rest of their life. I think that's when it starts to make an impact on the community.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Fletcher.
Now move on to our next question from Joey Kaufman of the Columbus Dispatch. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Luke, it was only one game on last Thursday, but how did you feel your defense looked without James Wiggins, and what did you see from Javon Hicks in that spot?
Obviously, they ran around. Let's just say that. It wasn't, like I said, the cleanest. They played well. They created some turnovers. They were opportunistic when the ball was on the ground. We were opportunistic when the ball was in the air. So to me, the most exciting thing is, we overcome a lot of mistakes with great effort. And we did that Thursday night. It wasn't, like I said, the cleanest thing in the world, but, they kind of created that too, with all the shifts and motions and a bunch of, kind of awkward type of things that make it more challenging for a defense to continue to play fast, even though they might not be right all the time. So I think the greatest thing we learned from us is we can play through some situations. We cannot be perfect and still be able to be successful because of, the effort that our guys will give and their ability to handle some situations.
And Javon's kind of a young player who kind of started in that spot. He hasn't obviously played a ton, but what stood out to him about him from training camp and that sort of thing?
You just seen the maturity. I mean, he really, for the last 2 years or a year and a half, he was, more of a special teams guy, and we like to refer to those guys. We got a lot of guys on the team, not a lot, but they're backups that are what we call, they're the second teamers, and we challenged those guys this year and through camp to not be second teamers, be kind of that 1B idea, and what that means is you've earned your opportunities to play, meaning that everybody trusts you and believes in you. Not that you'll make every play, but that you'll know what you're doing. You'll give incredible effort. And I think that's where you saw Javon through the entire camp, really, when James was still there, and step up and all of a sudden be like, wow, okay, we got another guy back here that we can count on and we can put in the game, and James is not going to have to play 70 snaps or 75 snaps. If it's a 75 snap game, we can go 60 snaps with him and 20 with Javon, and be able to truly by the end of the year, stay fresh and do those kinds of things. And and it just happened to be that he had to go in and play because of what happened to James, and I think that it voted well that he took a different mentality into camp and really showed the maturity.
Thanks.
We will now move on to our next question from Dan Hope of 11 Warriors. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hi, Luke. Obviously, there's still some players at Ohio State who you recruited there, that you coached in the very beginning of their careers. Do you still have an opportunity to keep in touch with those guys much, and do you keep up with what they're doing at Ohio State?
Yeah, I keep up with what they're doing. I think in the first year it was a little bit easier. That we had some connection, and some guys had even come down on a bye week. But through year 2 and now into year 3, not that I don't reach out or not that I do stay in contact, but like 18 to 22-year-olds as well, they got a lot of things going on. So I don't stay in contact with a whole lot of them. I don't stay in contact with a whole lot of my own family sometimes, especially during the season. So that's not abnormal, but I do follow them for sure.
And also, do you know Ryan Day much at all, and have you had much opportunity to interact with him since he's become the head coach at Ohio State?
No, don't. I mean, I crossed paths one time at a charity event, I think in the first year I was gone, and other than that, talking a little bit here when, via the, transfer situation with Blue Smith, where he was great. We haven't had a whole lot of interaction of any sorts.
Thanks, Luke.
Sure.
Any final questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please? Star 1 on your telephone keypad, if so. Coach, appreciate your time today. We look forward to hearing from you once again next Monday.